Hey, so we made a podcast. And if you're watching this, you're probably an administrator or parent or teacher. Administrator and teacher gotta go hand in hand. But my name is Jake Childers. My birth name is Jeremiah, but I just go by Jake. And this podcast is the Royalty Podcast. For us, this is a passion project. If you are a teacher or a parent or even a principal, hey, Mr. Hungerford. On our podcast, we are going to be talking about school-related issues, but we're going to keep it semi-tame. We're on this podcast, we aren't trying to offend anyone. We aren't trying to reveal personal issues that anyone's going through that, I don't know, maybe people seeing it and, maybe a couple people know about it. Maybe one person knows in the podcast, and then they tell everyone on the podcast, and then people watch the podcast, and they find out, and it just runs rampant. We are going to be doing that here. But we are going to be talking about teachers, or if we move away, because Christian, he might not be making it back, which is pretty sad. He'll be talking about his new school endeavors, and, we might bring people in from different school districts, but this podcast isn't strictly about school. It's about anything that we can come up with. Which what we're saying, guys, is that we need you guys' help. Because anything we say in this podcast, we don't really mean because in realism, we don't hate anyone here. The jokes we make, they may seem rude, they may seem, outrageous. Realism, we aren't trying to offend anyone. The history of this podcast stems from Ethan telling me about the idea, and we started gathering people. Then, we started organizing it, and now we're on our 4th episode. I always knew this was going to be a problem from the start. Of course, once we went back to school, people were going to find out about it. And I mean this with my heart. If you or your family or your students feel offended or misjudged by anything on this podcast, come call me down. We can have a talk about it, and we can stop talking about that. Because we are open to, changing if, after a while people don't. What I didn't explain very well here, I'm editing this a few hours later, but, if the podcast is, harmful to anyone and some stuff that we say, I'm going to try to regulate it pretty well with everybody. But, if something slips through and it's, really bad, I am going to hop straight on that and, change that immediately. And, hopefully we can do pretty well with that system. But that's just my hypothesis, mate. And, I'm just going to try to regulate everything pretty well and, try to make everything a better place for everybody. But what we're saying is that this podcast is open to change. As well as everything else in the world, change is necessary. Things change for the better, things change for the worse, but you never really know until we change. But what I'm saying is, we've known this issue from the start of when we go back to school, what are people going to say? And of course, I'm going to have this video pinned, so if anyone wants to look into it, they go to the channel and they can see this video so they can understand what we're about. This video isn't meant to cover up things. It's just meant to explain things. And hopefully from here and going on, when we go back to school, we'll have more things to talk about. And, it doesn't have to get too serious. We can delete videos if you want. This is another thing that I messed up about this. It's not that anyone could come to us, any student could come to us and tell us to delete a video instantly. I wouldn't pull up my phone and delete it. I would have to talk to them, and they would have to have probable cause, and that's just what we believe in. And but if a teacher or something like that is telling us to delete something and they have a good reason for it, we will do that on the spot. And even if they don't have a good reason to it, we'll lean into what they're saying, and hopefully everything can go out well. We can change, we can morph our content, and we can unlist videos, whatever you want, because you're our boss basically. And I don't mean that in like a condescending or like bad way. You're great at your job, and everyone's great at your job at our school, and I'm thankful for that. And hopefully moving on, going into the 2021-2022 school year, we can go fine. Our schedule is every Friday at 1:15. Usually we'll record like throughout the week. So things might seem outdated if you watch them, because just today's episode 4, I'm posting this on a Sunday. Actually, it's almost Monday. It's almost 12. We don't we don't record the day that the videos come out. Say that we get back to school and they don't like us talking about school. We can change that and we'll make like a video announcing that. And that's fine and all, but we're gonna try to stay away from that. We're gonna try to stay appropriate and not make that necessary. This podcast was truly a passion project for us. Hopefully, when we go back to school, it can thrive. I'm just going to say it again. We need the administrators, the teachers, all of your thoughts. And once again, we don't mean any harm by anything that we say. I know especially with the other boys, we can, get a little crazy. But I don't know, that's just a part of the podcast. It's a part of our thing, I guess. But seriously, if you do not enjoy or if you find something offensive, we are totally open to change it. And I know especially we don't catch those things immediately, and we would love if you guys could help us out with that. Thank you for your cooperation, and hopefully we can have a good year. I made this video because about a month we're going back to school. And going back to school is a scary thing for the podcast because, we don't know what's coming. I'm going to tell you it one more time. Podcast is going to change. And I'm making this video so if they see something that they don't like, they don't blow up on it like the Mr. Heiler fan page one. That was rough. But again, it was all great because I don't know. So just talk to us about it. And if it's on the weekend or something, you don't have to wait. We have an Instagram. I'll link that down below. You can DM us, and I run the Instagram account, so I will see that. And certain things you don't like, we will change. We will change. Thank you all for your cooperation, and I'll see you guys later.